Hey everyone, Jake here for American Trucks, and in this video we're taking a look at the Cold Air Inductions cold air intake in textured black, fitting 2019 and newer 5.3 liter Sierra 1500s. Now, not all cold air intakes are created equal, and if you're looking for more sound and better performance out of your Sierra, you owe it to yourself to check this one out. With a heat-treated intake tube, closed air box, slick good looks, and even a bit more, this setup has everything you're after for an agreeable price. Though cold air intakes are one of the most popular modifications that owners make to their trucks, not all of them actually bring an improvement. But this one is a bit different from the rest. As you might expect from a company called Cold Air Inductions, intakes is all they do. So they make sure to spend time and energy during the engineering phase to make sure that all their systems are true cold air intakes that provide several noticeable improvements over your stock setup. The focus with all their systems, this one included, is the prevention of heat soak. A lot of other intakes don't keep the filter isolated properly or insulate the other components, so that hot air from the engine bay can seep in, and since hot air is less dense, that's going to be bad for combustion. You want cold air because that is more dense and therefore can combust better and make you some more power. And there are a few clever ways that this system in particular helps mitigate that heat soak issue. So let's dive in. We're going to start out with the air box. Now this system is going to utilize a closed air box design, meaning that this is going to be much more true to its cold air intake name. This is essentially replacing the top half of your stock air box with a larger unit. So this is going to draw air in from the same place outside of the truck, and it keeps the filter sealed off from the rest of the engine bay. Now, keeping that filter isolated from the engine heat is key to keeping air intake temperature down. Again, cooler air is the key to more power. The design here is less restrictive than your factory air box as well, so it allows more airflow across the filter. You've got a nice seal on the outer edge here to keep even the neck of the filter from getting heat on it. All that means that not only are you going to get cooler air, but you're going to get more air through. This air box also features a nice little clear window, which serves the dual purpose of looking cool and also allows you to inspect the filter without having to take anything apart, which I really like. The air filter itself is also worth noting, and this might actually be the largest air filter that I think I've ever seen on a street-driven truck. Now, Cold Air Inductions design each filter for specific applications, so you get the right amount of airflow and filtering for your engine. This is, again, significantly larger than your stock filter. It means that it's going to allow much more airflow into the engine. That means your engine can make more power and respond better to throttle inputs. Now, this filter is an oiled design, and there are some additional benefits that go along with that. On the surface of the pleats, there's a thin layer of oil that's extremely helpful in capturing small particles of dust, dirt, and debris. It really helps add an extra layer of protection to help keep unwanted stuff from getting sucked into your engine, and it means that this can actually pull in more air without having to be a denser filter. And you can reuse this filter because it is oiled, so this is going to help save on maintenance costs, since you only need to clean it and re-oil it occasionally. And if properly maintained, filters like this can last a heck of a long time, so you don't need to worry about replacing your air filter every year or so. And if you drive your truck in dusty or dirty conditions regularly, this is going to be extremely helpful. Now, the velocity stack on the filter also has a unique radius and shape to it, which hopefully you can see here on the video. And this is meant to minimize turbulence within the air coming in. So all that air is nice and smooth, and it's fed through this thermal coated intake tube, which is made of aluminum. Now, in addition to the smooth airflow that this helps provide, aluminum tubes like this one also have a really nice resonance to them. So they're gonna sound great when you really get on it. And that is my favorite reason to get a new intake, that absolutely glorious intake noise. It's quiet when you're just puttering around town, but when you crack the throttle wide open, you get a lot more noise coming through. And while this is not a modification that's gonna make a ton of extra power, it might actually feel like it does simply because of the sound, and you're gonna find yourself putting your foot down a lot more often. Now, one other thing that's worth noting here is that this intake does not require you to tune your truck, so you can enjoy some additional response and some additional power without having to make further modifications. And while we're not throwing this one on the dyno, you can expect some gains. Don't go into it thinking that you're gonna get huge power gains from just an intake. We have to be realistic here, but there should be a noticeable uptick in power and responsiveness once you've got this installed. And of course, if you want to make the most of this or any intake setup, we do recommend looking into a tune. We've got lots of options for that on our site as well. Everything here is really high quality as well. The intake tube and the airbox are both made from aluminum, and they're finished off with this nice heat-resistant wrinkle black coating to help keep heat out of the metal and make sure that it looks cool. The box is fully TIG welded as well, and it comes as one single piece, so there's essentially no chance of leaks. And again, you've got this seal that goes around the neck of the filter too, so it's really gonna help keep that hot air out. The filter we were talking about is again a multi-layer cotton design with some really deep pleats to it. So there's going to be plenty of surface area to catch debris and still allow plenty of air through. And your intake tube has one of the most unique things that I think I've seen on an intake, and that is that it's coated inside. So again, this has got a heat resistant coating on both the inside and outside, so it's going to help keep that cool air cool as it goes into the actual intake manifold of your engine. Everything you need to complete the job is also included in the kit, including that seal around the filter neck, your clamps, and a new PCV line to match with this new tube. The only thing you will have to port over from your stock intake is your mass airflow sensor, but we'll talk more about that as we get into the installation process. And one more thing that's worth noting, this all is made right here in the USA, which is just another added bonus. Pricing for this setup comes in at about $525, and that does make it a more premium option. Not the most expensive by actually quite a long shot, but this is going to cost you more than your garden variety intake. However, there's a lot of good stuff baked in here, and if you're after an intake that's actually going to make a difference, then the price of entry here is more than worth it. Genuinely, this is one of the nicest intakes I think I've seen in a long time, and we get a lot through the door here. Plus, look at this absolutely gigantic filter. If you want more filtering and more airflow coming into your engine, this is going to be a great way to get it, so long as you've got the room in your budget. Installation gets a 1 out of 3 on our difficulty meter, and the job should only take you about 30 minutes to complete. Now again, this is a totally bolt-on setup, and you're only taking apart your intake tube, your filter, and the top half of your box. So it's pretty easy to get it set up on your truck, and it comes again with everything you need, short of the tools. So this is something that's pretty easy to complete at home in your driveway or garage. And even if you've never tackled something like this before, fear not, it's a pretty simple job. And to show you exactly what's entailed right now, let's head on out to the shop.
For this install, you will need an impact, a ratchet, various extensions, 7mm swivel socket, T20 Torx bit, 8mm socket, and a 2.5mm Allen wrench. What's up guys? Today we're going to be doing a cold air intake on our Sierra, so let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is unplug our mass airflow sensor. What we need to do is pop that red safety tab back on our connector, push down on our release, and go ahead and get that out of the way. Next thing we're going to do is loosen up this hose clamp for our intake tube, and we're going to grab a 7mm swivel socket and a small extension on our ratchet. Go ahead and loosen that up. Okay. Next we can go ahead and remove our upper airbox cover here, and it has 3 mounting screws holding it in place. They're kind of hard to see as this is a pretty dark engine bay, but one of them is directly in the center here in the back of our airbox cover. There's another one up front here, and then one around this side. So we'll grab our 8mm socket and extension on our impact, go ahead and run those out. Now we can go ahead and remove our upper airbox here and remove it from the intake tube. So we'll go ahead and pop it out like so. And it has 3 tabs on this side that just stick into the lower airbox. So you just push back a little bit and these will come out. Then we'll go ahead and remove that from the intake tube. Next we can go ahead and remove our factory air filter. So next we're going to come to our throttle body area, and we're going to loosen up the clamp holding our intake tube to our throttle body. It's pretty hard to see, but it is the exact same clamp as the other end of our intake tube. So again, we'll use our 7mm swivel socket and extension on our ratchet to loosen that up, as well as there is a tab holding our airbox on here. It's not bolted in or anything, you just kind of have to pop it off. And then we can go ahead and remove our PCV hose as well. And that's simply a push-in tab on each side and pop your fitting off. So this is super hard to see, but we're on the clamp and we are loosening it now. Again with our 7mm socket and extension on our ratchet. Once you get it reasonably loose, it should feel loose, and you can go ahead and begin to pop it off the throttle body like so. Don't take it fully off yet, but that'll get you started. Next, we can go ahead and remove our PCV hose from our intake side. So we'll just go ahead and push in on the gray tab here on our fitting. And then go ahead and just pop that right off of the fitting nipple. And once that's done, we can go ahead and finish removing our intake tube. And again, this is the tab I was speaking about. Kind of just pops off. Might take a little bit of effort. Now that we have our intake tube fully removed, we can go ahead and rotate our PCV hose and get the cylinder head side off. Again, it's the same style fitting. Just push in on the tab and pop it off. So now we're going to go ahead and grab our new air box cover as well as our new air filter. And you'll notice this has a clamp and fitting on it already. What we're going to do is slide it through the opening in our air box. Go ahead and get this through. Now you will have to turn it a bit to get it to sit properly. So we want it sitting like that. And then we can go ahead and set our upper air box in place. We're not going to bolt it down just yet. We're just going to have it sitting where we want it to sit. So now we'll go ahead and set our new upper air box onto our factory lower air box, and we're going to line up our mounting holes for our hardware here. And it's okay for your filter to drop. We want this movement for now so we can install our new intake tube. So now we can go ahead and grab our original air box, and we're going to pull the mass airflow sensor out of that. We're going to use our T20 Torx bit on our ratchet to go ahead and unscrew this. Now you want to be very careful when you remove this because you don't want to damage it and cost yourself a bit more money. It's never fun. Go ahead and gently pull this out. Now we can set our factory air box aside. So now we're going to grab our new intake tube and our mass airflow sensor. We're going to set this in position. Again, very gently. Go ahead and get that on. Then we're going to grab our provided 2.5 millimeter Allen head screws, and a 2.5 millimeter Allen wrench. We'll go ahead and get these installed. So now we're going to install our new provided elbow onto our new intake tube. Maybe a little bit stiff. You can get it to slide over. We may have to loosen up our clamp a little bit, so we'll go ahead and do that. So now we'll grab our 8mm socket on our impact and go ahead and loosen up this clamp. Now you don't want it to come all the way out, but go ahead and get it good and loose. It's going to provide you with as much clearance as you need. And go ahead and seat your intake tube into the boot. So now we're going to go ahead and get our throttle body side of our elbow here on, as well as our intake tube into our filter. Go ahead and get it filter side first. May also need to loosen this clamp. And this is why we did not bolt down our air box. May need to push on your intake filter a little bit to get that to seat. Go ahead and get our throttle body side on. Make sure that seats fully. Move our filter into position. So now we'll go ahead and tighten down all of our hose clamps with our 8mm socket on our impact. Make sure everything's nice and secure there. Now we can go ahead and plug our mass airflow sensor back in. Take that factory connector, make sure that clicks into place, lock our safety tab down. Next we can go ahead and install our new PCV hose, and you notice this has a straight exit fitting as well as a 45 exit fitting. The 45 is going to go on our intake tube side, this is going to go to our cylinder head. So we'll go ahead and remove the cover if there is one for your fitting. Ours does not have one. Go ahead and slide this into place. Click that in. We'll go ahead and get this side onto our intake tube. Make sure that locks on. Make sure nothing's rubbing. So now we're going to reuse our factory hardware to secure our new airbox cover on. So we'll grab our screws. Go ahead and line those back up with our factory mounting points. We'll get them started here. Don't forget this back one here. And then we'll tighten it back down again with our 8mm socket and extension on our impact. Alrighty guys, that about wraps up our review and install of our cold air inductions, cold air intake, and textured black finish for your 19 to current 5.3 liter Sierra 1500. Thanks for watching, and as always, for everything Sierra, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.